Right, let's see how this goes. Just going to give YouTube a wee shout here. No, it's late, 11 o'clock, but all the kids are in bed, family's in bed, so thought we'd have a wee chat with you. Is the sound okay? Hey, bro, I can't carve. Is the sound okay there? Let me see. I'd actually set that up. Oh, Kelly. Blades. Ruderkifer. Right, so what was it doing? Yeah, I think it was 20 minutes ago I was setting up to go live, and then I realised that my little one. All right, I'll give it a few minutes, Callie. That I forgot that there was a fade on as well watching, but that's all right. What I'll do is I'll just sit and get prepared, and I know there's other things can be done. If this is a new laptop that I bought a couple of months back, and I'm just sort of trying to get the use of it now because I've been so busy. But I took a week off. How do you get on with your bets, Callie? New party getting stuck in, is it? Fair dues. So yeah, a few things going on today, wasn't there? At least to mention that big rally that took place over in England. Some say there was up to 2 million attended, united from all over. England, Scotland, Wales, even Northern Ireland. And I'd say they're pretty sure there would be plenty from Republic of Ireland went as well. And protested Stormont today. I'm not too sure. SH. It was good. It was good turnout at the City Hall for the vigil for Charlie Kirk. It was good to see some familiar faces there, all on the same thing. I'm sitting looking at the comments here, my head's taking me away. That's why I guess. Yeah, there was a good turnout. SH at the City Hall. Use the 30 quid. I made your better keeping it in the pocket. There was nobody at Stormont, right? I don't know. The thing was shared with me, the event for something happened at Stormont. That's a lot of money, Collie. A lot of money. Better off in your pocket, better to be used for better things. But what happened today at the City Hall, 11 a.m., there was an event held for the remembrance of the vigil of Charlie Kirk, who was sadly shot, dead a couple of days ago at another freedom of speech rally that was going on over there. So freedom of speech seems to be a hot topic right now. And what have I been doing for the last 3-4 months? I've been trying to reignite that flame in everyone in this great province that we know Northern Ireland or over ways Ulster. For me, the only way to stand up, maybe manage how things are going to pan out over the next 5 years by everybody coming together as one. Because when we come together as one, this two-party system that has worked over decades to keep us separated and divided, well, that two-party system starts to then crumble and disintegrate from within. As you can sort of see what's going on with the Labour Party there. They've been doing that many wrongs. They have not been able to do it right because of the so many wrongs. So they're falling apart. And, well, let's just say there is a list and it's starting to become a catalogue of paedophiles that were associated with the Labour Party. One was caught out there, pretty sure 6 weeks ago, one of their MPs. There's Mandelson, no doubt Mandelson was running about with Jimmy Savile back in the day, never mind Epstein. I think all those folks came about before Epstein came about, and let's not mention anything about Epstein and the people that he got at and the people he got into. But again, this stems all back here to Northern Ireland, and a reflection again on Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a devout Christian man. He was a devout believer and follower of Jesus to the point where the man literally could have been, toe-to-toe, point for point on debate level there with Jesus. But the main thing of the message that he always carried was the message that Jesus wanted to teach people to love one another, wanted to teach people how to be good to all things that are living. Nice one, scratch and sniff. You know, Jesus wanted everyone to understand and live for the day, not to be caught up in past traumas or future anxieties of things that haven't yet happened. So the problem that we have in this country, this province, Ulster and Northern Ireland, that we have today is people are still divided in the minds. The people still can't snap out of that old dogma that they were caught up over all their years. I mean, I was born in 1980, so I was one of the Generation X children. You know, grew up not really giving a fuck about things, but just unfortunately over all the years, we've now got to a point where this government has browbeat us so far down into the ground that we forgot how to stand up for ourselves. We forgot who we are as a people. You know, we need to go back to our roots. When we need to go back, or we need to repent. We need to repent and go back to who we were. You know, back to when we were a community that communicated with each other. Our strength was built in our communities. Everyone knew one another. You know, over the last 30 years, what these globalist agendas have been playing out, and not just here in Northern Ireland, but in all countries. I mean, you look at the state of Republic of Ireland, look at the state of England, Scotland, we look at the state of Europe. You know, Northern Ireland here isn't the only country in the world that's suffering due to this, let's say, mass invasion of the Western world, because it is the Western world that is succumbing to the Islamist takeover. You know, these people that come from countries, I think, what is it, is 12 countries, 12 Islamist countries that will kill, and it's illegal to be gay. But yet, what do we have here? We have these brain dead lefties, left brain people who want to come in and protest to bring these people here. You know, the Bible says that the gay community, what you need to understand is that while you're standing with those people, when their numbers get bigger and they get more confident, they will cut your head off. Then people do not accept gays where they come from in their culture. You know, coming here and behaving in the way they do with our children, but yet still this government keep bringing them here. They keep disguising the fact. They don't come out and condone any of these attacks unless someone's dead. They're not condoning these stalkers in our parks. I mean, I'm in East Belfast by myself in Victoria Park. Just yesterday, seen an incident where there was a man taking pictures. Unfortunately, my hands were tied at the time. If I had got the message at the time, I would have went and dealt with this individual lawfully by asking them to leave. You know, that's how it's done. We need to get aggressive with these people. Just ask them to leave. They don't like their activities, what they're doing. Phone the police. Follow them. If they want to leave, follow them. That's how you stop them coming back. You know, this needs to happen in all our parks, folks. You know, every community needs to be getting in your groups together. And I'm not talking about walking about the streets like a wild mob. I'm talking about sectioning things out, picking locations, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, getting your radios together in order, and, you know, mainly big men. You know, to protect our women, it has to be men, folks. And I'm sorry, and that's nothing against the women. I know there are women out there doing groups at Lakes of Shore Road, but early patrols for the women. Yes, when it gets into the darker hours, it mainly should be the men, folks. And there are some strong women out there who I don't disagree with going out on these patrols, but to see these patrols starting out everywhere, folks, I mean, it's great to see from as far as Carrick down to Bangor, Shore Road, Shankill, East Belfast one's still going, different locations in East Belfast. Other regroups are starting to start up on their own and venture out on this path. So for me, the biggest vision here over, let's say, the last year, folks, because I mean, from the first multi-location protests a year ago that happened in Belfast with the Newton Arch Road, Carlisle Circus, roundabout up at Newton Abbey there, that's when I seen things were starting to look good. There was a possibility that we now, a year later, would end up being in a far better position to make a stand against this government. But unfortunately, it just hasn't succumbed to that point where we need to be right now. Now, that's not to say it's over. It's never over, in my opinion. I mean, far too many times if people says to me, you're only one man. You're only one man. That means nothing to me. I'm one man and I can do a lot. Imagine what 10 of me can do. Imagine what 100 of me could do. So when I set out in this mission, I only asked for people on the same page, the same mindset as me, who understood that the real enemy here are our internal enemy, and that's our government, that's our politicians that are doing all this to us. They're the ones that are putting us through all these things that are detrimental to our mental health and keep us locked up, not just in our homes, but locked up in our minds, folks. As long as we imprison ourselves in here, they will always have control of us. That's why you need to turn off your television. Stop watching this mainstream globalist news. They're programming you. They're telling you what to think, how to live, when to sleep, even when to poo. You need to snap out of it, folks. Start thinking for yourselves, folks. You need to start finding some free time. It's time to start channeling into the Most High, our Heavenly Father. It's time for seeking some real advice and guidance instead of looking at that TV screen for any information that you think may be factual, which is in fact not factual at all. It's just out there to steer your thoughts and steer your mind. There's never a full truth that comes out of the news, unfortunately. Let's see. Well, I've just been muttering on there. I've just seen many comments coming in. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, folks, get in, like, sub, share, subscribe. Do it a lot for me. Let's get me out there. I haven't really used YouTube, but I can use YouTube a bit more because it saves the video and I'm able to share it out over the other platforms. So everybody's getting the same thing. And it saves me uploading to all the platforms that I'm on. Like TikTok, N.I.disgruntled one. On Facebook, the page that I run, you can find me on is this. The Great Province-Wide Protest, NI, folks. That's the page I am the administrator on, no different to a judge in a magistrate's court. I am the administrator of that page and I call the shots. There is one other administrator on that page, but it's in the background just in case I get sent to jail for long terms. So the page doesn't get shut down. There's that, Bill. Hope you're not watching me live. Give me a second, folks. Yeah, so anyway, let's not get carried away. I started the video off. I was talking about the day 11 a.m. this morning. There was a vigil for Charlie Kirk, folks. Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated by, can we all agree here that it was left-leaning ideologist type patsy type kid? You know, someone who's been radicalized by very smart think tanks and upper echelons of evil sadistic departments and let's say deep state, we'll call it. Yeah, something like that. But I mean, Mom was a very Christian. He advocated for Jesus' way, Jesus' truth, the only way to the Heavenly Father and God. And I mean, I had seen debates over the years that Charlie had, but I was not a follower of Charlie, I'd say. But I had seen lots of debates that he had. And he was having debates with these lefties, these men that thought they were women. These idiots, left-brain people who think that, you know, it's okay for men to go into a toilet, but on the same sentence, they won't say it's okay for a man to look in women's windows. These people don't know whether they're blew up or stuffed, to be fair. But here's the thing about it, folks. That attack on free speech against Charlie Kirk, that needs to ignite the fire and passion in every single one of you that has that venom, a voice to talk and voice your opinion to your neighbors, to your community. Everyone needs to start getting on their feet now and realizing that if we don't use our free speech, we will lose it. And we need to stand up for our rights also, our God-given rights, handed down to us into our DNA, our God-given rights. No more should we be taking any commands from the tyrannical, suited up, prescribed, organized bunch of half-wits. We, the people, hold all the power. We have always held the power. We have just been subverted away from those facts to the illusion that these people that wear uniforms and disguise themselves as protectors of the realm. Remember, these people swear oaths and affirmations, and they do solemnly swear to take the office of constable fairly, transparently, equally. Are they doing things equally? Is this justice system doing things equally? No, I don't see it as being fair, nor equal, nor impartial. I see this system coming for one group of people, and it seems to be us, those of us that like to speak. So, and again, I remind you all that freedom of speech is something that we all must fight for. But that comes after the fight for our children's futures, folks. We are being invaded by a group of people, and it's being allowed to happen by this same government. It has been happening for 5 years. In years 21 to 2023, our population increased 15%, folks. 15%. Why 15%? Because 300,000 migrants were brought into this great province of Ulster, Northern Ireland, and planted in our hotels, in our houses, while our people were left on the streets, while our politicians came to your doors looking your vote, telling you all in coded words that we are for diversity. Most people didn't even know what diversity meant when they were saying it. What they were talking about was a multicultural voting system, where these people coming here will do nothing but applaud and bow down to Sinn Féin. But that will be short-lived. Why will that be short-lived? That'll be short-lived because once people get enough of their numbers here, they will believe in themselves. They will believe that they are going to come the majority of the population on this island. They will put their own candidates front to become members of the Dáil, members of Stormont. This is how it works. Once that happens, they will vote their people in. Let's say maybe pushing out the unionist parties, because that's how I see things going. If these people come in here, they're allowed to vote, and they only vote for Sinn Féin on their own members. It means, let's say the 47% of Protestant people here just won't cut the vote, and unionist parties will cease to exist. So we do need a party that's going to do as the people ask. And when I say do as the people ask, I mean close the borders, get all these illegals out of their hotels, stick them straight on the boats off the shores, leave them floating out there till they make the decision to go home or they die. Because they're illegal. They should be imprisoned. And unless they go home, they should remain in prison for life. That's how I see it, my personal opinion. These politicians, they're not cutting it, folks. They don't represent the people. They never have. I would make a better representative to use the people than these people would. Why? Because I wouldn't be speaking to Sinn Féin. I wouldn't be speaking to no tyrannical First Party that thinks they have a right to kill our cultures, both Protestant and Catholic cultures. And here's the thing. It's time for the rest of the Catholics, and I mean this from all my heart, to become Protestants. And I don't mean Protestants by culture. I mean Protestants by title. For now, we must put all this nonsense, all this shit must get put behind us, folks. We need to unite. We need to come together as a people, not under no corporate rule, as a people, because we, the people, hold the power. We, the people, control what laws are laws and which laws are not laws. Acts, statutes, and legislation can only be given the power of law through the consent of the people. That's how it works. Corporations cannot make laws. We, the people, encode and embed our God-given rights within our constitutional system that has been taken away from us, folks. Now, that was one event, Charlie Kirk event. The second event that happened just after that was the support for Soldier F, a soldier who is being dragged through the system that he once stood and fought for. A man that put his life on the line to defend what he believed to be his honour. Well, this same system, this same government have now turned. They now want this man prosecuted for his actions in defence against terrorists. That's not how things work. What we have coming here now, folks, is an even worse breed of terrorists than what the IRA were. These people don't need guns. You know, there's all the talk about the containers and being shipped in, smuggled in. Yeah, these people just need blades because that's what they live by, folks. These people coming here, they only need their machetes, blades. Believe me, if they get their hands on them, and they already have, stabbings, cuttings happening on a daily basis, how long do we have to wait? How many of our daughters, how many of our brothers, fathers have to be mugged, stabbed on the streets, left to bleed out, with no media coverage reporting on it because they don't live to get details of the perpetrators that are carrying out these unprovoked attacks? That's how I see it. At some point, this government has to fail. To me, it failed a long time ago, but it has to come to a point where the rest of you, the people, can see it. It's time to step outside this whole banners that we've carried for years, whether it be in British and UK and Irish and Protestant. You need to remember what comes first. We, the people, man and woman, under one banner. What banner is that? That's the banner of Jesus, the Son of our Heavenly Father. We need to remain this ungodly, Stormont government. That these were the values we were raised on, and these are the values we will die for. And at that, I'll have to let this all go, folks, because it's getting late. I'm sweating out here. It's pretty hot. Maybe I'll not let this go. Maybe I'll have a look at the comments, folks. I just rattled on there for a bit and I forget myself. Forget to have a chat with you, the people. Yes, Lily, that too. We need to be having a baby boom. We need to be popping the babies out like milling machines, 100%. Yeah, I seen that cave cult. I seen the police president when he was over and he gave a speech again. You know, he's an honorary man. He honors his people. He does as the people wish. When he sees a danger, he acts upon it. He gave an order to shoot on sight. Couldn't see our politicians giving that unless you're standing up against them. They'd probably order you to be shot on sight. Yeah, their free rate is over. Stop the benefits. Stop the benefits. What if you stop their benefits? What way is that working? You know, what did it do then? Do they stay? No. They'll probably come out on the streets. Probably start looting more than they already are. I mean, nobody likes to check out our crime statistics and how they've went up over the last 5 years in particular. The only country whose sexual assault rates have dropped is Poland's, coincidentally. I think the UK's has went up probably 70%. An awful lot. You know, Germany's has went up 45-50%. You know, all these different countries that have allowed this immigration to happen, that have been part of the European bureaucracy. You know, these people that don't come from here but make up our rules and our laws. These people need to go. And the message reaches out to the brothers and sisters in the Republic too. You need to get rid of the EU, get rid of any kind of foreign dictatorship and come and jump on board with us in Northern Ireland, on England, Scotland and Wales. It's time for us all to come together and get rid of this bureaucracy, because they're not doing us any favours, are they? They're actually costing us more money to be part of them without getting anything in return except for 300 regulations on your microwave, 250 regulations on your Hoover. Both parents having to go out to work just to sustain a lifestyle to raise children. You know, if you go back years ago, before they started trying to incorporate this, you know, small children working family, the less children they have, the more they can work. And that's how this program has worked again over the last, well, let's call it 50 years now, 45 since your man Teddy Heath put us into, you know, well, fraudulently made us all believe, made our parents believe they were in this European bureaucracy. No, we've never been in it. And let's not forget that this EU are also working in line with the WEF, the World Economic Forum. You know, These ones have infiltrated most governments around the world. These ones have implied these things that are happening now. They're no stranger to Good Friday appeasement happened 27 years ago now, is it? And these people have been here a long time. I mean, Jerry Adams, I think, was part of the WEF in 1969. What else happened in 1969? Jerry Adams' not so prescribed organisation, Provisional IRA, started bombing Northern Ireland. Why? Because they weren't getting enough results by bombing the South. They thought it would be better. The WEF knew that they had to create a divide here, yes, here, back in 1969 in the early 70s when that Republican civil movement started out, which should have always been a peaceful civil movement. What happened? No, it turned into civil unrest, which brought in the army. History always repeats itself, folks. What this government is trying to do is always to keep us divided because they need us to create a civil unrest. So what can they do again? They can bring in the UN army trucks and wagons because they've already got a lot of their troops and soldiers here stationed in Northern Ireland. In my personal views, and if they're not UN soldiers, they're jihadis. They're Islamic jihadis. They're here ready to carry out a worldwide jihad. Once Iran starts getting blown to smithereens for the Israel, the Americans, the Germans, or the UK in particular. The UK has easy over 100,000 of these radicalized jihadis, and that's just doubling the figures that the MI5 like to put out there. The reality of it is you can quadruple that there, quintuple that there, like 5 times the amount, especially with all the illegals that are coming in. They tell you 1,000 of them's coming in a day by boats, but they don't show you 1,000 a day coming in by boats. To me, they're just redirecting your thoughts away from that they're being flown in. They're coming in planes, folks, and they're getting housed up in hotels. They'll show you a boat with 30, 40, 60 people on it. Just me, personal views again, to exaggerate the numbers on boats. To me, these people are coming in by plane. They're being flown in, and that needs to be addressed by the people too. Flown in, then bust into your communities. You've seen the pictures arising all over the last 2 years where a big, massive 70-seater bus just pulls up into an area and off they get with their suitcases. And the media comes out and tells you tourists are shopping in Lisbon today. You know, just doesn't cut it for me, folks. I don't know about yous, but what I set out to do a year ago of getting our communities in order, getting our two cultures to come together, that's really show this government that we as a people can do this. And we need to stand up. The brothers and sisters down south, you are all on board too. The many, many protests. Remember, folks, the great province-wide protest N.I. You'll find my page on Facebook. That's what I'm all about. No more of this will we be carrying out protests every 5-6 weeks. When I came on board, I changed that. That changed it every other day, every day. Every week we were going to a hotel, even took it into 10 Square business where Kearney's, Chrissy Kearney, Paddy Kearney boys who own the Lock View and the Chimney Corner, is it? I think that was their big profitable business in the city centre. So we went in there, and yes, we faced the jihadi supporters, known on the left there. And a message to use people on the left, those of you who were cursing and down talking the death of Charlie Kirk, there's a special place in hell for you people. And there's also a watch group starting up for all you people that attend those protests on the left. You're going to be identified. You're going to be publicized all over social media, because that's how we people work. And I'm not going to say us on the right. We are right-brained thinking people. We use reason and logic to look at all the bullshits being put out there. Those left-brained people, those are the ones standing on the left with all their hairs dyed, men pretending that they're women, pot-bellied, fucking skimpy t-shirts, you know. You aren't thinking straight. And one thing you need to get right with here is need to get right with yourselves. All of yous on the left, yous are on the wrong side of history. And when it all comes to fruition, yous will be on the receiving end and the accountability end of what we, the people, will bring. Anyway, people need to wake up now and lose this country. We haven't lost this country yet, Paul Walker, but this government is pushing us to that point where They want to hand this country over to the WEF and the globalists. They want to hand powers over to foreign control. They want to take the power even further away from us, the people. And this is why they do what they do. And it's not just here in Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, the Republic of Ireland. It's a republic they vote a president in. What does Micheál Martin do? Well, he thinks that the idea of sovereignty is the biggest pile of shit, which tells you exactly where he's coming from, because if he doesn't believe in sovereignty as the Republic of Ireland, as a nation, as a sovereign piece of land, well, he shouldn't be there, should he? You should be able to just go, scup him up, kick him out, and say, we want a new president. Simple as that. And I mean, Leo Varadkar, what was he? Was he even Irish? Strange one, that. Shouldn't it only be the Irish that reside presidency over Ireland? Yeah, strange. The same way in England. Why have we got Muslims running councils, sitting in the mayor's office in the city of London, turning London into a third world shithole? Why? Why has this been allowed to happen over all these years? They come in and they play the soft guys, the nice guys. We're all for diversity. This is all going to be good. It's all going to be a bunch of roses. And then it turns into not even a harvested flowering rose. What do? They change the faces. They put new cronies, because that's all they are. Cronies acting with their cronyism ways. Put their friends in. Carry on the same shit. Nothing changes. Rishi Sunak brought in just under 1 million migrants. Boris Johnson, can't remember his numbers. Queer Stormer, I think he's going to break the bank when it comes to letting undocumented, unvetted, and unquantifiable numbers of peoples come in here. You just have to look at their countries. After the Twin Towers came down, they invaded their countries. They made martyrs out of them, as the likes of Iraq, Syria. These countries became breeding ground for, let's say, radicalized terrorists. When our government went and blowing up their children, blowing up their uncles, their families, their grandparents, they radicalized the people from these countries. These people weren't always like this. Maybe they were, maybe not, but they don't belong here. They don't share our values. They don't share our faith. They don't share our strength and bonding capabilities. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to be part of us. They just want to take over us, folks. They want to run the world. They want to run the world, and there is an entity sitting at the top of this oligarchy structure of rulership that is allowing it to happen, and that needs to be addressed. We, the people of this great province of Northern Ireland, we are being backed into a corner, and I know that every single one of you are watching now, and many others who are going to watch this video after the fact. I know I've got your support. You're my family. These are my extended family now in this fight against this tyranny and this corruption coming out of Stormont. No longer will we bow down to their rules and their treasonous policies. We will call them out at every corner of this great province. It's as simple as that. Family, you're my family now. Yeah, Shabana Mahmood's also control of the new justice system, the border control. You couldn't make this shit up. Honestly, couldn't make this shit up. All right, right in the head, Steve. Well, you're right there. Let's see what it says in the comments here. Message retracted. I'm going to change that to the wrath of patriots 100%. Lemmy, 100%. The wrath of patriotism is on its way. Yeah, that's right, Kelly. That, what I like to do is try and give people the confidence and the courage to, let's say, just walk into court and plead your innocence. If you're guilty, you're guilty. It's as simple as that. If there's a strong case against you and all the evidence points a finger right at you because you're fucked up and you got caught, you've done something wrong, the process has to take its course. But if you genuinely have not done anything wrong, and these people just want to try and run you through this administrative process that is only going to extract monies from your trust, your private trust, I believe in stopping that by yourself. And it's like the parents always told us to stand up to bullies. Well, this justice system are bullies. Stand up to them. Stop going to a solicitor that's only going to get their 500 quid out of the taxpayers' money or out of your pocket. You can just walk in there and say what needs to be said yourself. Like, who's the victim? Where's the damage? Where's the evidence? Who's making the claim? Are they here today? Are they present? No, well, then everything is hearsay, is it not? Ali Bo, in and around Beaver. Thank you, Ali Bo. Listen, for let's say my first live on YouTube on starting at 11 o'clock, it got up there, I think it peaked at 94 viewers, folks, and I can't thank you all enough for jumping in, and remember to share and get your friends to subscribe. I feel like I could use this YouTube platform a bit more than Facebook. Everybody gets to look at YouTube. You don't even need to be a register of YouTube. And look at all those comments, amazing. Like a Tricolor, Union Jack, are amazing. That's what it's all about, folks. It's all about unifying us, the people. We as a people are not Northern Ireland. We're not Republic of Ireland. We as a people are the people inherited and born and raised on these lands. No matter what you call it. This land is won before the corporate titles. It was just us, the people. Remember that. And besides, the tricolour represents the both anyway. Protestants and the Catholics, doesn't it? It was created and designed up in France, just like the France tricolour. It sort of came from France and then over here. It was used for the unity of our people. And it was peaceful until 1969. And the WEF sent their agents here to Northern Ireland. Yeah. Some gross history, folks. Some gross stuff went on all those years ago that we don't know about. They're happy for us to point our fingers at these politicians now, but this has been going on for a long time. Many people lost their lives for the gains of the few in this country, and that is something everyone needs to reflect on. You just want to go back and think in the past. Remember, those that are responsible for our annexing of our cultures now are the same people that were responsible 40 years ago, folks. Let that sink in. Unfortunately, our people fell foul to this generated inorganic civil war that plagued these lands for 40 years. They caught the last 15 years, supposed 15 years of it. It wasn't nice. It was 400 yards up at the stadium, a place called the Stadium in Shankill Road when Shankill bomb went off. It's like 400 yards up the road from the Shankill bombing. It was a young boy, 13, 14, something around that age. I remember Elizabeth, Michelle Baird, lost their lives in that bombing. They lived just literally across the street from me. So I was raised in that environment, and I do know that we were terrorized. We were terrorized on both sides, folks. You just have to face the facts here. The IRA done more damage to their own than all the largest paramilitaries put together. And now again, Sinn Féin got into power through a lot of those activities, who still do not condone those activities. But yet when it comes to us speaking about our rights, our truths, we're being called far right and racist by these same people who orchestrated terror here for 40 years. No, it's time that comes to an end. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to speak. It needs to be said. If it needs to be said, it's going to be said. I'll say it. As long as it's for the betterment of everyone, all of us, all us godly folks, yeah, I'll say it. Actually, a place in the south called Mosney. It was a holiday camp burial spot. Guess what? It was sold to the Irish government for, imagination. Well, this is the thing. I mean, Who gives the council consent to sell land? I mean, you want to look back at what was it happening here in the NAMA scandal, and Peter Robinson was balls deep in the NAMA scandal. There was some deals went on there where lands, properties here were sold for £1 by the administration in place at that time, but that seems to have been drifted into history now. You know, I was talking about things I got 10 years ago. Who give these people permission to sell the land as theirs? Do they have a bill of exchange, a receipt from the Most High themselves? I doubt it very much. See, this is the problem with greed and power and corruption. You know, what starts out first as maybe a genuine, honest thing, then ensues greed. Through greed then ensues corruption. And through corruption comes power absolute. And this is the world we live in now. Those in power have got there through corruption, absolutely, without a doubt. Elected? No. Selected? I mean, don't you think this whole political system's a farce anyway? How can we have an election process without having an election process? Aren't our elections supposed to be free? Aren't we supposed to be able to tell them when they can work for us and when they can't? No. Again, that has all been subverted and ostracized completely out of any political teachings that they've taught us or are even teaching our children in the curriculums now. What do they want your child to know? They want your child to know about Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old. And after that child reaches a menstrual cycle, the age of menstrual cycle, that it's okay to, what, impregnate them? No. That's not common. That will not happen here, folks. I have faith in the Lord. I have faith in the Most High that that's not happening here. But these people need to know what their intentions are, especially here in Northern Ireland. Ulster says no. Remember, no surrender. That's what we say to these globalists. Excuse me. Oh, thank you, Dabba Hart. Thank you. Remember, send it to your friends. Get it out to your friends. I'm also friends with Freedom Dad. For those of you that are subbed up with Freedom Dad, you know, I'll have a wee laugh now and again. The king can dissolve pardon, but choose. Well, now we're talking about that, Lemmy. Now you're saying there to Lily. Maybe some of you know, maybe if you some. What I've been in the process for a couple of months, or I was running about getting signatures for a petition to the king. I actually have copies, just like a big filing cabinet behind me here, folks. See all that. Everything is in here, and it's all buried. I don't like my videos to drag on for too long because people have short attention spans, and that's part of the problem why we're in this fucking mess that we're in now. People don't like to pay attention for too long, but anyway, just so you can see it. For those of you that don't know, I actually just hold a page like that and scroll it up. You just might be able to stop and pause and read it once I'm done. So there you go. That's the big petition is being sent off to the king just to get the rest of the signatures in and get them handed in so other people can do the process and photocopy and print and blah, blah, blah. And then get it sent off to big ears himself. See what happens. Don't expect anything back, but feel not there and nothing goes back, well, then you may as well just hit straight into the Magna Carta, folks, and Article 61. Think realistically that's where we're going to go anyway, because I don't expect that the king's going to reply back to the N.I.disgruntled one here. I've made a disgruntlement at the services of this here crown agency and carrying out on its own people. In this contract world, it's all contract. They're all contracting into this through sin. You're born into a sign, signature, sign of nature. It's your birth certificate. I'll go down that one, but too much for people. So as your best just sticking to the wormholes. They're a bit smaller and easier to get back out of. Hey Vivian, thank you, love. We have met, Vivian, you know that. Hugs all around, you and your wee family too. Most obvious, some obvious here with Davy Flack. Ain't you've been on my page for a while. Well, sure, I think we had 11 members in the shadow government here in Northern Ireland. You know, it's not even a Privy Council. It's not even the advisors. My failing cabinets. You know the score, Sam. You know the score, shifty, Sam. That's the way it goes. Things are a lot easier to grab when they're piled up in a mess, just at arm's length, isn't it? Rather than in a cupboard, having to go into a cupboard. You know the score, man. I think we've all been there. I mean, I've been coming up 15 years now. Me and the bro I can carve. We teamed up 15 years ago too. Went down these of many rabbit holes, you know, and both have found their way back up into the light, and we've found Jesus and we've found our Heavenly Father again. I think we'll have to give our wee 3-hour Bible class in Miss Icon carve tonight. I think we went to 2:30 in the morning a couple of nights ago, wasn't it? So yeah, most of you know the score with me anyway. You know what I've basically been up to. Just basically trying to get that fucking blood pumping in every single one of you again. Trying to get you to start communicating, because when people stop communicating, things break apart, families break apart, relationships break apart. While politicians keep communicating, they don't break apart. It's only us, the people, that break apart. And those were words that came from Charlie Kirk himself. Just reciting some words from Charlie Kirk's mouth, you know. When people stop communicating, things break up, fall apart. Is there still no explanation for these tents or field hospitals popping up around the UK? Well, I think, I've not seen any yet, Lemmy. I mean, let's remember that this government like to do a lot of propaganda themselves. There's a fearmonger. Who knows? I think it was a capacity of 700 a tent, and I think they pumped in half a million or half a billion to it. Was it they pumped into it for all these tents? Scare tactics, man. Or maybe they're going to ramp up fucking 10G here, and all the vaccinated are going to have issues. Right, Callie. I'll see you again, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Good night, bro. The internet and smartphone technology is a blessing and a curse, as it's given us instant access info, but on the negative side, it's also altered and given us shorter open spans. Well, yeah, John Platt, I mean, the truth be told, it's made us all depressed. It has depressed us all, because human interaction is the thing that kept us all going. You know, one-to-one, face-to-face, and the meeting of the minds, some squabbles, you know, about who supported what team, that team. You know, this is how this system's played us out for years. Always kept us competing each other. Who can get the most views? Who can get the most likes? Who has the most followers? You know, it's always been this way, and that's why I always stuck to Facebook. Always stuck to Facebook. It wasn't about me. About, you know, I want all these people to follow me. I want to be famous. I want the famous people to know me, because I'm just Stevie Baker. I just want the famous people to do the right fucking thing. You know what I mean? The right thing by the people. I don't want to have to know to meet these people. I'm quite happy to just put the feet back up once the people get on their feet and off their asses and off their keyboards and start joining these protests that are all around the country, folks. All around the country, they're starting to happen now. Even Newry opened a big one there now. They did face some stiff opposition from the loony left. You know, those ones of all the piercings, the tattoos, of worship Baphomet, the goat, Saturn, folk. You know, yeah. And yes, Melissa Kwame, great speech, and the others there, great speeches. So it's good to see that Newry is making a stand on. It draws people in from around all that area that again can't make it that Belfast protest, because I advocate for these happening in every town, in every county. And let me, using the term county loosely there, folks, because I don't give two fucks about the counties. Let's face it, a county is just a word used to make you think that one is better than the other. No. Again, as I said earlier, one island, one land, one people. We're one people under God. We're not one people under the Irish Establishment Corporation. We're not one people under this British imperial empire. We are one people under God. And those at the top, those in the political benchworks, those are the ones that want us to forget who they are. That's why they've taken religious education out of our curriculum, and they want to shaft our minds full of Islamic cultures. No, no, no. That's not going to happen. That's not feasible. It's not possible. There's no way you can mix Christianity with Islam. It's not going to happen. Yeah, they may say that the Quran spoke about Jesus, but Jesus was the one, the only begotten Son. He whosoever believeth in him shall have everlasting life, folks. Want to remember that? Go to John 3:16. Stone Cold Steve Austin quote, folks. Remember that? One's in chat being bombed, might be doing the same as me. Yeah, well, a lot of people are getting moderators and stuff. I mean, when I'm doing my lives on Facebook, I can sit and delete and block them myself, but I'm sitting here looking. I don't see any haters in at the minute. I mean, the haters can't really come in and hate me because, I mean, I have advocated for innocent people of Palestine. You know, the 15% of the population of Palestine that may be, I think it's probably sitting at 2.2 million population there. On 50% of that Palestinian population, folks, are under 18 years old. So all these reports and media blasting out, like BBC blasting out reports that it's always the children dying. Well, that's because Hamas, a fucking terrorist organization that kills its own people, no different than the IRA done over in Gaza, are persecuting their own people. They're using them for cannon fodder. They're putting the women, they're leaving. I mean, you've seen the videos of the leaflets being dropped that they need to vacate, they need to leave the area that's going to be bombed imminently. But the people are not allowed to leave. The Palestinian people are not allowed to leave. And again, where the fuck are the protests that were starting to raise up over in Palestine, like literally 6 weeks ago? Did they stop? Are they still going? Was that propaganda to make us believe that there was an uprising? If it was propaganda, who was it done it? Was it Hamas that staged that propaganda? Because they do have a movie set operational over in Gaza. Let's not shy away from that. Right, Dodge say. Free Palestine from Hamas, that's the one here. These make 100%. The way I see it, I mean, instead of just bombing and blowing up, and there is always going to be casualties in the crossfire when fighting against terrorism. The IDF have the technology, they have the weapon power, and they have the right trained up soldiers just to walk in there and wipe Hamas out. They've been saying it for the last 6 months now. That's what needs to happen. Send in the IDF. Them boys are trained up. They know how to operate. Send them in, clear the tunnels, clear the fucking towns, clear the cities, wipe Hamas out. Yeah, and let's create a livable, habitable land for the genuine Arab Palestinian people. Not those that hate Judeo-Christianity or Jewish way of life, Christian way of life, the white way of life. I got short up at me at church 2 weeks ago. Don't make me that. ADF haven't lost anything. Cal, I thought you were away to bed, mate. You know, say you've worked more. ADF haven't lost anything, mate. But, you know, they could have done what they're doing now a lot sooner. 100%, Paul. I've been calling it for months upon months, every town, every county. every village and be the only protester in the village. It doesn't take much, folks. Get yourself a group of people, maybe 10, 20 people. Get going. Get them all to stand. Get wee banners, wee placards, non-threatening, none that can be brought up in court and called out as malicious communications. We need to keep ourselves right when we're doing these protests, folks. We do not want to give these authoritarians any reason to shut us down. So when I come out and I put my face to all the protests I done, that was to give you all confidence and see that when things are done right and peacefully, they will continue. But as soon as agitators come in and want to start making things that wee bit anti, when it comes to trying, what we're doing is basically trying to get our message across and trying to grow our numbers. So it needs to remain peaceful. It's as simple as that. These rulers, these oligarchs that sit at the top of the strings, the top of the pyramid, pulling all our politicians' strings, these people don't give two hoots about us. They're quite happy for us to go into chaos. Order out of chaos, as Albert Pike said. Was it three world wars to get complete control of the masses? Yeah, it's our minds they want control of, folks. It's not hard to gain control of our bodies. They just bring in rules, regulations, and know that we would bow down to them anyway. But it's this. The more they get control of our minds, the more they push back resistance. The more they stop us thinking from the right side of the brain, logically, with reason, and fight. No more flight. The only way forward in our thoughts should be to fight. The fight for our children's futures. The fight to get rid of these illegals that are coming here on a daily basis, to stop them coming here. We need to fight for our right to house our own first. We need a better education system that only seeks to teach our culture onto our youngsters, our godly ways of life. This is what we need going forward in a new society, under a new government, without these fucking traitors that are sitting Stormont now. It's about time they all left, folks. And we as a people have the right, have the power to come together and peacefully remove them, get them out. And we only put in the people that are going to do the job right. What I mean by right, by doing as the people demand. Because we the people control not just this great province of Ulster, Northern Ireland. Us the people all around this world control this world. And it's down to us to set things right. We need to right one wrong at a time until we live in a lawful system without any unlawful legalities that only extort and persecute the innocence of our youngsters. It needs to stop. And I'm reaching out to you all. Come join me. These are my family now. Let's jump on board. Let's everyone, Protestant, Catholic, Christian, Arab, let's come on board. We talk about my protest. Why have we not had any, let's say, other ethnic peoples attending my protest? And that's a good question, not there, because if they also see they came from a country that is ripped up like a third world shithole and is getting abused on a minutely basis, every fucking minute some say it's getting abused over in these countries. These people know what's coming here. You need to come and join us on the streets. All you folks in the gay community, you need to get on the right side of history. You need to come and join us, because we're not going to behead you. We're not going to throw you off a roof. We're not going to treat you like chicken, throw you in an oven between two bops and eat you. That's not who we are. We believe that you have a right to live your life maturely in your own private capacity. We don't believe what this ideology is bringing here is out to benefit anyone in the gay community, even the transgender community. On that note, I don't believe that the LGBTQ community plus XYZ community have any beneficial manifestos that's going to benefit any of you transgenders, any of you that don't know what is or a man or a woman. And I'm not meaning that disrespectfully to anyone. I'm just coming from a straight talking point of view. This religion has no respect for women, let alone men that want to be women or believe they're women. You need to get on the right side of history. You need to understand who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and doing it the right way. Like, subscribe. Sure. I'm Stevie Baker, the Northern Ireland disgruntled one off the Great Province Wide Protest, and And it was great having a late night chat. I need to go and have a midnight munch and have a chat with Icon Carve. I'll speak in a wee bit, bro. So good night, folks. God bless, sweet dreams, and do me all a favour. Before you go to sleep, bow the head, ask a favour of the Most High in the name of Jesus, and tell me how you wake up tomorrow, folks. We'll do another live tomorrow, and we'll all catch up. Good night. How do you end this now? Bye.